Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Enrique Iglesias, the king of Latin pop. Enrique Miguel Iglesias Preysler, born on May 8, 1975, in Madrid, Spain, is one of the most influential Latin pop artists in music history. Known for his smooth vocals, charismatic stage presence, and ability to crossover between Spanish and English language markets, Enrique has become a global icon whose career has spanned nearly 3 decades. Early life. Enrique is the youngest son of legendary Spanish singer Julio Iglesias and Filipino-Spanish socialite Isabel Preysler. After a kidnapping threat against the family, Enrique moved to Miami at a young age, where he grew up largely under the care of his nanny. Although he wrote songs in secret during his teenage years, he did not publicly embrace his musical ambitions until later. He briefly studied business at the University of Miami but left to pursue music full-time. Rise to fame. Enrique's debut came in 1995 with his self-titled Spanish-language album, which became an instant success. The record earned him a Grammy Award for Best Latin Pop Album and produced several chart-topping singles across Latin America and the US. His follow-up albums, including Vivir, 1997, and Cosas del Amor, 1998, solidified his status as one of Latin music's brightest young stars. Crossover to global stardom. In 1999, Enrique successfully crossed over to the English language market with the smash hit Bailamos. This launched his first English album, Enrique, which included several international hits. His 2001 album Escape became one of the biggest successes of his career, featuring beloved songs such as Hero, Escape, and Don't Turn Off the Lights. These singles made him a worldwide sensation, earning him millions of fans across Europe, Asia, and America. Continued success and evolution. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, Enrique continued to evolve musically. He experimented with dance pop, EDM, Latin pop, and reggaeton, collaborating with major artists such as Pitbull, Wisin and Yandel, and Gente de Zona. Notable albums from this era include Seven, 2003, Insomniac, 2007, Euphoria, 2010. His first bilingual album Sex and Love, 2014. Featuring major hits like Bailando and El Perdón. Enrique's ability to seamlessly combine Spanish and English music helped him become one of the most successful Latin artists in history. Achievements. Enrique Iglesias's career is filled with extraordinary accomplishments. Over 180 million records sold worldwide, hundreds of awards, including a Grammy, Latin Grammy Awards, Billboard Awards, and World Music Awards. One of the highest-selling Latin artists of all time, over 150 #1 hits across various Billboard charts. Nicknamed the King of Latin Pop and the King of Dance, his influence helped Latin music thrive globally long before the modern reggaeton and Latin pop boom. Personal life. Since 2001, Enrique has been in a long-term relationship with former tennis star Anna Kournikova. Together, they have 3 children, twins Nicholas and Lucy, and their daughter Mary. Enrique is known for valuing privacy, often keeping his family life out of the public eye. Recent work. In the 2020s, Enrique released Final, Volume 1, and Final, Volume 2, projects he suggested might be his last full-length albums. He has continued touring and collaborating with artists while focusing more on family life. Legacy. Enrique Iglesias remains a defining figure in modern pop music. His crossover success paved the way for many Latin artists in the global market. With a career filled with chart toppers and timeless hits, Enrique's influence continues to shape the music industry. Enrique Iglesias, a comprehensive biography of the Latin pop icon Enrique Miguel Iglesias Preysler is one of the most prominent figures in modern Latin and international pop music. Born in Madrid, Spain, on May 8, 1975, he has built a career that spans nearly 30 years, producing countless hits and shaping the global popularity of Latin pop. Widely known as the King of Latin Pop, Enrique has earned a global fanbase thanks to his charm, emotional vocals, and ability to constantly reinvent his sound. Early life and family background. Enrique was born into one of Spain's most famous families. His father, Julio Iglesias, is one of the best-selling recording artists of all time, while his mother, Isabel Preysler, is a well-known journalist, model, and socialite. After a kidnapping threat targeting his family in Spain, Enrique was sent to Miami to live with his father's former nanny. Growing up in Miami introduced him to a rich blend of Latin American and American cultures, which later influenced his music. Despite living under the shadow of his father's fame, Enrique kept his musical ambitions private. He began writing songs as a teenager and eventually recorded a demo tape that he submitted anonymously, not wanting to benefit from his father's name. First steps into music. Enrique's debut album, released in 1995, was sung entirely in Spanish. It was a remarkable success, selling millions of copies and earning him several awards. He suddenly became one of the hottest young acts in Latin America, admired for his heartfelt ballads and emotional performances. His early work relied heavily on romantic Latin pop, and the style resonated deeply with audiences across Spanish-speaking countries. International breakthrough and English-language success. The turning point in Enrique's career came in 1999 with the release of the English-language single, Bailamos. The track became a worldwide hit, and opened the door for his full crossover into the English-speaking market. He followed up with the album Enrique, which included more global hits and solidified his presence in mainstream pop. The Escape era. In 2001, Enrique released Escape, one of the most commercially successful albums of his career. Songs like Hero, Escape, Love to See You Cry became massive hits worldwide. This era highlighted his ability to shift smoothly between power ballads and upbeat pop. The album also reflected a new phase in his public image, more confident, modern, and internationally appealing. Artistic evolution. In the 2000s, Enrique's sound evolved significantly throughout the 2000s. He explored electronic music, dance pop, and R&B influences, reflecting global changes in pop. Key albums of this era include 7, 2003, a return to romantic pop with introspective lyrics; Insomniac, 2007, a darker, more electronic album featuring hits like Do You Know?, The Ping Pong Song; Greatest Hits, 2008, a collection of his biggest English-language songs up to that point. He also recorded songs tied to major international events, including a track for football tournaments, showcasing his growing influence beyond the music scene. Euphoria and the Modern Latin Wave. In 2010, Enrique released Euphoria, his first bilingual album. It marked an important shift in his career, positioning him as a bridge between Latin and global pop music. The album included hits such as I Like It, featuring Pitbull, Cuando me enamoro, Number me digas que no. The blend of languages and styles showed Enrique's versatility and helped redefine Latin pop for the 2010s. Sex and Love, 2014, and the rise of Latin dance pop. His 2014 album Sex and Love proved that Enrique could continue dominating charts after decades in the industry. The album produced some of his biggest hits, including Bailando, El Perdón in collaboration with Nicky Jam, I'm a Freak with Pitbull. Bailando, in particular, became a worldwide phenomenon. It topped charts in dozens of countries and became one of the defining songs of the decade. final projects and new collaborations. In the early 2020s, Enrique released Final, Volume 1, and later Final, Volume 2. He hinted that these might be his last studio albums, though he insisted that he would continue making music and performing live when inspired. He also collaborated with longtime partner Pitbull and other Latin artists, proving he remains relevant in the constantly evolving music landscape. Live performances and touring. Enrique is known for his dynamic and emotionally driven live performances. His concerts often include intimate moments with fans, energetic dance numbers, and stripped-back renditions of his biggest ballads. He has performed in North America, Europe, Latin America, Asia, Middle East. Enrique is one of the highest-grossing Latin touring artists of all time. Awards and achievements. Throughout his career, Enrique Iglesias has accumulated an extraordinary list of accolades. Over 180 million albums sold worldwide, more than 150 number 1 songs across various Billboard charts, multiple Grammy and Latin Grammy Awards, dozens of Billboard Music Awards, numerous World Music Awards, recognized as one of the best-selling Spanish artists in music history. His chart performance has led many to call him the most successful Latin pop act of all time. Acting and media appearances. Enrique has made occasional appearances in film and television, including roles in Once Upon a Time in Mexico, 2.5 Men, How I Met Your Mother. While music remains his main passion, his cameos have shown his natural charm and comedic talent. Personal life and private nature. Despite his global fame, Enrique has always maintained a private lifestyle. He has been in a long-term relationship with former tennis star Anna Kournikova since 2001. The couple has 3 children and is known for protecting their family's privacy. Enrique is often praised for remaining humble, friendly, and approachable, despite his global achievements. Legacy. Enrique Iglesias's legacy is enormous. He broke boundaries for Latin artists in English-speaking markets long before Latin music dominated global charts. He helped popularize a new generation of Latin pop, influencing artists across the world. His ability to balance romantic ballads, dance anthems, and bilingual tracks has made him one of the most versatile and enduring artists of the modern era. Even if he slows down on releasing new albums, his impact continues to shape the music industry, and his songs remain beloved classics for millions. Enrique Iglesias, a deep dive into the life, music, and legacy of a global icon. Enrique Iglesias is one of the most influential musical artists of the past 3 decades. His voice, charisma, and bilingual artistry have helped redefine Latin pop and shape its global rise. With more than 180 million records sold, he remains one of the best-selling Spanish artists in history. And his music continues to span generations, cultures, and continents. This extended article presents a comprehensive portrait of Enrique Iglesias, from his childhood in Madrid and Miami to his iconic hits, artistic evolution, global tours, and lasting cultural impact. Early life and formative years. A childhood amid fame. Enrique Miguel Iglesias Preysler was born into a world of glamour and attention. His father, Julio Iglesias, was already a global superstar, while his mother, Isabel Preysler, was a celebrated model and media figure. Despite this, Enrique's early life was not entirely smooth. At age 10, he moved to Miami after a well-known kidnapping threat against his family in Spain. This relocation drastically changed his life, geographically, culturally, and emotionally. Growing up in Miami in the 1980s was a melting pot of Latin American cultures. Surrounded by Cuban, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, and South American communities, Enrique absorbed a rich fusion of Latin music, dance rhythms, and American pop. Yet, he did not want to be known simply as Julio Iglesias's son. He sought independence, crafting songs privately from a young age. His early songbook was filled with emotional ballads that hinted at the artist he would become. 2. The secret beginning of his career. Enrique's entry into the music industry was unusual. He recorded a demo tape without attaching his real name, choosing to avoid using his father's legacy. The tape circulated under the pseudonym Enrique Martinez. Music executives were impressed by the voice and songwriting, unaware of the superstar family behind the young singer. This anonymity allowed Enrique to prove himself purely on talent, a personal victory that shaped his confidence early on. 3. Meteoric rise in the Latin world, 1995 to 1998, the debut that changed everything. Enrique's first album, released in 1995, took the Latin music world by storm. Sung entirely in Spanish, it featured heartfelt ballads, powerful vocals, and relatable lyrics about love, pain, and longing. The album sold millions worldwide and earned him a Grammy Award. Practically overnight, he became a beloved figure across Latin America and Spanish-speaking audiences worldwide. Follow-up success. His next two albums, released in 1997 and 1998, strengthened his dominance. Vivir, filled with romantic hits. Cosas del Amor, which included emotionally intense ballads. His concerts during this era became emotional events, with fans packing stadiums and singing along word for word. It was clear, Enrique Iglesias was no ordinary newcomer, he was a rising icon. IV. The English language breakthrough, 1999 to 2002, the moment of global recognition. Everything changed with Bailamos. The song exploded worldwide, topping charts in multiple countries and introducing Enrique to English-speaking audiences. Its Latin pop fusion sound was fresh and irresistible. Following this success, Enrique released his first English album. What impressed critics the most was his fluency in both languages, his English pronunciation, confidence, and vocal tone made him stand out among Latin crossover attempts at the time. The Escape era, universal stardom. Enrique's 2001 album Escape was a monumental success. It featured some of the biggest songs of his career: Hero, a global romantic anthem; Escape, iconic, upbeat, and catchy; Don't Turn Off the Lights. This era established him as not just a Latin star, but a global pop superstar capable of dominating arenas across North America, Europe, and Asia. V. Artistic growth and reinvention, 2003 to 2010. Exploring new sounds throughout the 2000s, Enrique resisted being boxed into a single style. He experimented with Latin pop, dance pop, electronic music, R&B influences. Each album showed new dimensions of his artistry. 7. 2003, a deeply emotional, lyric-driven album that showcased maturity in songwriting. Insomniac, 2007, his most experimental album to date, featuring darker tones and electronic production. The hit Do You Know? The Ping Pong Song became a global smash. International expansion. Enrique's tours during this period reached audiences in parts of the world where few Western or Latin artists toured regularly. Eastern Europe, Russia, India, Israel, the Middle East. This expanded his reputation from Latin star to international pop force. V. The Euphoria era and the Latin pop renaissance, 2010 to 2014. Bilingual brilliance. In 2010, Enrique released Euphoria, a bilingual album that successfully blended English and Spanish tracks.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.